Hello, neighbors. This is Mr. Ray here, president of the Autism Chapter 4, and a person who's been uh, diagnosed with the COVID on Martin Luther King's Day. I just want to say a few things to all of my subscribers and kind of let you know how that COVID worked. I know when I got when I went there, I knew it was something wrong with my throat. Uh, And now it has been a year, almost a year and a half or two since this COVID thing came out, and I never had the vaccine because I used the organic way and the plenty vitamin C way, and uh, and I think I was successful in that because I hadn't had the virus in all these years, and they had created the vaccines, and everybody had took the vaccines and the boosters, and the vaccine should have been out of here, but it wasn't. I mean, here comes another vaccine, another virus right behind this particular vaccine, and uh, and you can't expect to be. Yes, so at some point your guard is going to be down, and I'm going around people who've had the vaccines and the booster, and they had the virus. Of course, I always wore a mask, but then they say the mask, the ones I wore was the medical mask, not the N mask, but just the regular hospital mask, the blue mask. And I always wore that when I would have people in my vehicle. And I thought I was pretty safe during that time. But I started feeling kind of low and fatigued. Not so much as sick, but when I would go through things, take people places, it would just be like going through the motion. We usually be talking about different topics, but I found myself not even wanting to talk. So I knew that it was something wrong. But I want to thank a lot. I've gotten so many well worshipers to wish me well, and that's what they say. Yeah. I think Whitney Houston sung the song, if you got friends to wish you well, you'll find the point where you will exhale. And that's good. But it was just joyous to know that so many people was thinking about me and wishing me well, and uh, and I appreciate that. But just to get back to the disease itself and how it does you, I mean, at first, even before I went and got tested, I would get these excruciating moments of pain in different parts of the body. Like one time I got excruciating pain behind this eyeball here, right up in there, and it was just it was so painful until I was yelling out. I was saying, "Oh, oh, oh," and it was just excruciating pain. It was like somebody took a hot uh, pen or something back there and was just trying to just see how much pain they could put you in. And then another time, I had some pain come right here, right up top of this hand here, and it was just so hurting until it almost was paralyzing, and that lasted for some seconds, some 45 seconds, and in other places, like on the tip of my tongue, on the tip of my nose, I got a throbbing, just just painful throbbing there, and I was saying, "What the hell is that?" And so I'm convinced now that this virus, this COVID thing, will kill you if it gets the opportunity. And with the way America is, with so many sick people and so many diseases that they already have, you can't survive this COVID if you got some kind of debilitating disease. If the best thing for a person who has a disease, high blood pressure, muscle disease, nerve disease, you know, different kind of disease that will kill you if you're not treated. But if that virus gets in there with that particular disease, then now you got a double whammy. It's going to go to your weakest part. Say, for instance, if your liver is weak and you got cirrhosis of the liver or something, then that COVID is going to go straight to that liver. And these are just my projections. You know. I'm the man with all of the answers, but then you have to question yourself and see, is what I'm saying making any sense? And I would advise you to do that. So, experiencing pain all over your body, like now, what would pain be doing in the bottom of your little toe on your right feet? Where would that come from? But it was just so hurting, and you couldn't do nothing but just oh. Never had any pain like that. Never had any pain in that particular area before. Out of my 75 years, I had never had any pain. And then I ain't had a headache in 50-some years since I stopped drinking alcohol in April of 75. But I had a headache that came down on me, and it was like if I had a migraine. I said, wow. And this was before I was tested, but I knew that there was something going on because otherwise I wouldn't have that kind of pain because I take too much better care of myself than to have that. I know I may look like crap, and I kind of feel like it because I still got something in my stomach that ain't right. And I don't have an appetite. Listen, now, I love my peanut butter and crackers. My organic peanut butter, whole, round, organic crackers. Now, that's my favorite. And I went to eat some of that the other night. And not only that I didn't enjoy it, I couldn't taste it. You know, if you can't taste peanut butter and crackers, I mean, it's something radically wrong with your taste buds. And they say that you have your sense of smell and taste and all once you get the COVID-19. I don't know where the Omicron comes in at. I don't know what the symptoms of that is. I read some of the symptoms of the COVID-19. You know, you have a sore throat. And I did have a sore throat last couple of days. I started my quarantine on Monday evening. And here it is Friday morning. And I went through that. And I coughed up so much phlegm during those days. I slept in my living room in my recliner because a lot of people said, hey, don't lay on your back. And the first night I went in, I went to bed late. I was laying on my back, and that's where I sleep, on my back. And I just couldn't get comfortable, couldn't go to sleep. And that was before anybody told me that you shouldn't sleep on your back when you got the COVID. Now, what is that about? You know, COVID, you can't do this. COVID, you can't do that. COVID, you can't sleep on your back. COVID, you can't turn left. You know, what is it about scientists these days that they can't beat a little disease like this? It just behooves me. With all of the technology in the world, and here it is, they can't beat this disease here. I mean, we're in big trouble, people. If you can't take care of yourself, you know, which that's what I do. I take care of myself. You know, I didn't think I was gonna die or anything if I got the virus, but I just don't like to be sick at all. I like to be fluid. I like to be moving, moving. And the last week or so, I was just going through the motions of movement. I just didn't feel right. I felt out of sorts. And I said, here it is, we're in the 21st century. And really, this is just a case of the pneumonia. And this doctors and scientists, they can't fix it. You know, they let all of these people die. And they say if you take the vaccine and then get you a booster, but at first it was just the one vaccine. Take that, you'll be good. Then the next thing you know, you got to have 2 vaccines. Then next thing you know, you got to have a booster. Well, then how many people you think died or became terminally ill and sick? You know, waiting on people to tell them you got to take 2 shots. No, but then nobody say about 2 shots. They say take the vaccine and you'll be okay. But that wasn't the case because so many people took the vaccine and they got COVID and they died. And one of the doctors and scientists come out and say, look, we sad about the person that took the vaccine dying, but this is not a sure thing. This is not guaranteed. But we hope that it will keep you alive as much as you can. But see, all they would have to say is, look, it's the same way I tell people when I treat them for cancer or any other disease with my knowledge of herbs and stuff. And I tell them, like, look, I say, you may still die from something, a disease, but this gives you the edge, which means that if you can live, then this will give you the edge and keep you living. And that's all the people want you to say, doctor. But y'all won't say anything. I never heard one of you doctors come up and say, well, although the person took their 2 vaccines and a booster, and they still died. Let me explain something to you people. This is not an exact science. This is not a cure all. We are just saying that this may keep you from dying and may keep you from getting the virus. But we know that some people are going to die even with the vaccine. But this is the best thing we have for you now. Now, is that so hard for doctors to do? They're not gods. We know you're not gods. It's just only you people, you doctors think you're gods. The rest of them know you're not gods. But for some reason, you can't never back up and say I was wrong about the vaccine. And now, y'all forcing me to take the vaccine. I ain't took the vaccine in this whole year. I've been okay. I was up there at the treatment center for sex offender boys. Damn near all of them had. About 16 or 17 of them had. I'm off in the middle of it. I've been stopping fights and stopping arguments. They spitting and hollering and stuff. And I never got it. I tested me up there and I tested negative. And then one of my angels told me, say, hey, you need to get from up here because your luck will run out. Your fortune will run out if you keep it up. And see, a lot of these little guys, they will spit in your face. That's who they were. And so I decided to just give it up. No use just walking the gauntlet and walking the plank when you see what kind of people you was dealing with. So I backed out. So I left there. And I came out and I never did get the virus over this year before the vaccine was even thought of. You know, I was taking my regular stuff, my superfood from Dr. Schultz, and I was eating out of the Whole Food store over in Jackson, Mississippi, and I was taking plenty vitamin C, mega doses, ridiculous doses of vitamin C, and I never had any problem. And then after they got the vaccines, and then they started giving people the vaccine, and then I said, well, maybe after a while, this COVID will leave because they seem to have a handle on it. They were doing so many millions of tests, and 100 million got uh, the vaccine, and I never did worry about it because I had beat the odds up until this point, and you would think that the virus was on its way out, so I wouldn't think that I would get it, and but I did. And I feel after 3 days, I'm better. I'm not going out the other end. I'm not getting sicker, as you see. But I can tell that if you didn't know some things to do for yourself, you would get, because of all of that mucus that I coughed up and spit up. Some people can't do that. So a lot of that stuff is staying down in their lungs, and that's what happens to them. They get to the point where all of that mucus is in the lung and they can't breathe. And I can see where that can happen at. But since I was taking so much vitamin C and stuff, that was getting it out of me. I was coughing it up off the phlegm and spitting it out in my, and today I had some little coughing, spitting spells last night, but today I haven't had any. Hadn't done any coughing and hadn't spit up any phlegm. So what? So what's that? So why is that? But I don't have an appetite. I don't know what I'm gonna eat. I ate some organic Cheerios and some rice milk, and I put a banana in there, but I couldn't hardly eat the banana in there, so when I ate the oats and stuff, just to be able to get some energy in there. But this disease is so tricky, if not for a better word, that it will have you thinking that you doing one thing and you actually setting yourself up for something else. Because I see now that it will really hurt you if your body's not ready for it. If you got some sicknesses, some illness, some debilitating illness, and you come down with the COVID, you might not make it because of the way that this disease does everything. I mean, if you already got pain in your liver, and then that virus goes down in there and just gives you excruciating pain down in your liver, it may just stick down in the liver until it kills you. You say, oh yeah, we got him now. We got him. This is where he's weak at. It's sort of like when the lionesses go out for a hunt and they'll be looking around and they'll look over there and they'll see old boy over there, wildebeest boy, and they'll say, yeah, old boy there, he got a limp watching. And the wildebeest will be trying to get up in the middle and hide because they know that the lioness will get the weakest wildebeest in there. And the lioness say, yeah, we know who to get now. We see him. We'll stampede it. We'll see which way he goes, and then we'll run him down and have him for lunch. I mean, it may seem kind of sarcastic, but that's the way the virus is doing. It's getting the weak people. And if you got high blood pressure, it'll go to your head. It'll go up in there and give you a headache up in there, and then your blood pressure will get high, and then it'll just keep it high, until you almost have a stroke or something. The same way with the heart. If the virus think you got a heart problem, and you go down and it goes down in the heart and start messing with your heart, you start having chest pain and stuff like this, then you might end up having a heart attack just that quick. But I really get anxious that the doctors cannot do more for you. I know a lot of you don't have the knowledge I have about taking care of yourself. But I've been doing this for 50 years, taking care of Robert J. Ray Sr. and took care of Robert J. Ray Jr., really. And that's why I feel like I'll survive this thing. This too will pass. But I really don't like to feel this way. My stomach is feeling still kind of queasing, and I still got to go eat something at around 12 o'clock. The kid, well, what to eat? I'm fix me up some organic green peas, and I like green peas, especially organic. They go good with rice, and I had organic brown rice. I had that, and I had a whole food chicken leg. I think y'all saw me do a commercial on the chicken leg, and that I had cooked and frozen. I cook my leg, then I freeze them, and then when I feel like I got a taste for some meat or something like that, I get it out. And so I had my piece of a stone ground cornbread, and I had my rice, had my green peas, and I had me a chicken leg. And I ate, and I had a lot of seasoning in it, a lot of organic seasoning in it, which really make it taste good. But I sit down to eat it, and I took my first fork full of the beans and cornbread, and I said, "Well, what is this?" It didn't even taste like green pea. And so I got another fork full, I put some cornbread in it, and put that in there, and put it in my mouth, and I swallowed. I said, "What the hell's going on?" I couldn't taste it. And then I said, "Well, let me get a piece of chicken," and I bit it off into the chicken leg. And I tell you, if you don't get the chicken taste, it feels like you're eating a piece of rotten meat. And I couldn't taste the chicken taste. Like a fried piece of chicken. If you get it and bite into it, you feel that taste of that fried chicken. And yeah, this is it. This is fried chicken. I couldn't taste the fried chicken. I say, oh, so I put that down. I was pushed away from even trying to eat. So what do you say this old sick man is trying to tell y'all? I'm trying to tell you that if you get COVID, you better try to do everything you can to keep it from killing you. Because the genuine truth is that it is trying to kill you. But it's trying to find its weakest point. I know I was watching TV, and that's another thing. When you quarantine, this is the longest time that I have been indoors. I guess in the last 50 years. I come in after I took the test Monday on Martin Luther King's birthday, on his holiday too. And I came back home. It was about 12:38. So they told me to give them an hour. And they would call me and told me how the test went. But as usual, I don't expect anybody to do what they say they're going to do to be on time, and they wasn't. And an hour later, they hadn't called. But then an hour later than that, they called. And they say, well, Mr. Ray, you didn't test positive for COVID. You tested positive for the flu. And I was really excited because it did seem like flu. I've had these symptoms before and had the flu. And, and I know that the flu, I can always beat the flu. And I was excited. And after I said, well, my regimen is holding true. I ain't got it. And then she said, let me go back to in the lab and make sure. So I waited on the phone about 5 minutes. And then here she comes and said, well, Mr. Ray, I made a mistake. You did test positive for the COVID. I mean, come on, people. You should be sure before you tell people. That's just like telling somebody they ain't got cancer. And then say, well, let me go make sure. And then come back and say, well, yeah, you got cancer. See, I mean, that was just zap your mind, your mental ability, and everything. What the hell? So after that, they told me, say, well, you got to quarantine for 5 days. So I've been in the house on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's Friday morning, so it'll be Saturday evening before the 5 days will be up. And you can go almost insane in your house by yourself like that. I mean, you watch television until you watch a television and say, what the hell is this? I've seen this. I've done that. This is nothing. These things don't even mean anything. You sick, you got a disease you might die from. Don't anything on TV interest you. It didn't interest me. So I'm flipping through the channel. I don't watch movies. I usually watch documentaries because that gives you the truth about stuff. And it gives you more knowledge about how to live your life and what not to deal with and what not to put in your system and what not to bring into your society. And when I binged out on the y'all have to excuse me. I don't know. I don't know if I'm sleepy or not. But anyway, I binged out on the documentary. So I say, well, let me watch some movies. So I watched some movies. I started watching some movies. I had Netflix. So I got on Netflix. So I flipping through Netflix, and then I saw this movie where this mother and her son was headed to New York for her to get some kind of treatment because she had some kind of vampire disease. And she had to drink blood or something. I said, what the hell is this? I said, let me watch this. So I got while I was watching that, and they hijacked the plane, and they grabbed this lady's son, and she was trying to get him back, but she grabbed one of these guys and she just ate him up, and ate some of his blood and stuff, and she turned into a weird looking vampire. I said, what kind of who wrote this stuff? And and then the other people, the hijackers, they was after she did this one guy, he started to biting people, and everybody that get bit would turn into this raging vampire like individual. Then other people on the plane started getting into damn near everybody on the plane was dead except the vampires and the woman and the ones that were trying to hijack the plane. And at one part, I went to sleep and I started dreaming. And this is another thing. You should try not to dream when you got the COVID, because it will scare you to death if you dream when you're in a sickly state, because all kind of evil spirits come at you when you're in a sickly disease state. Now, listen, my next video that I'm going to do is going to be on dreams, because I've been studying dreams for many, 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 many years. I think I read the Journal of Dreams, Swedenborg Journal of Dreams, back in '76 or something like that. So I've been studying my dreams ever since that time. So I'm kind of adept at studying my own dreams, because I know who I am and I know where I've been and where I'm going. I'll be sharing a lot of that with you in that dream tape. But dreaming when you're in a sick state is a scary thing. And I was dreaming that I was in the vampire movie, and I was biting, and I was trying to bite somebody, and somebody was trying to bite me on the hand, and in a little bit I woke up and I looked at my hand. I said, what the hell was that all about? But see, you can't watch these kind of movies when you ill and when you sick and when you suffering from this COVID, because that's part of the COVID, messing with your mind. And if you allow it to do that, you'll be dreaming all kind of crazy stuff. Because now you just listen to this. If you got a sick body, you also have a sick mind, because the mind is part of the body. And if your body is sick, like my body was sick, and I had the COVID in there, and that's why I was dreaming these dreams. And then not only that, at nighttime I would cut the TV off about 8 o'clock, and I would be in my chair and I would cut the fan on so I could have some circulation and stuff. And they also say to keep some fresh air coming in your house. Don't make it until I cold it. I'm gonna go open up my window. I should have been had it open, but since I had the break in back during the days, I had all my windows nailed down. So I got one window that I can open up. I got a metal rod in there. I stick it in there, and can't nobody let the window up. But if I want to, I can take it out and let some air in there. That's what I'm gonna do. I remember the last time somebody tried to break in my house, and seeing what they were doing, they would get my car keys and go joyride in my car. They did that about 3 or 4 times. And so I went and bought me a pistol then. I said, I'll be ready for them the next time. So I got me fixed a trap. I had a can like this, and then I put a superfood bottle up on there, and then I put a bottle of water up on top of the superfood, and I put it over there close to the window. So if anybody tried to come through that window, it would fall. And so I went to bed, because usually they come in the morning from like 2, 3, when they think I went to sleep. And they would get my keys, and one time, the little guy came in the room and got my keys, and just as he got them, the keys kind of jingled. I woke up, and there he was going down the hallway with my keys. And I had a gun, but I said, no, I'm not going to kill that guy because of over some keys and he wanted to go joyride. I would feel bad about that. And I didn't shoot him. So he left with my keys and everything. So I called OnStar, and once the police got involved, uh, they went directly where my car was. They had it over there by Highland Park, behind a house over there. And me and the police, they got me. We went right over there, and that's where it was. And OnStar is really amazing because they can pick your car up anywhere it is. So now uh, you can find your car anywhere on the planet if you have OnStar. And so the next time I brought my car back home, and so that weekend he'll come after I set my trap up. So I went to bed about 12 something, and I was just dozing off. And something said, "Boo." I said, okay, the trap has been, and so I got out of bed. I had my 38 revolver in my hand, and I went in the hallway, and I was just standing there in the hallway, and I could see that these idiots, they had the car light shining up to my window, and they had this guy's shadow in the window, and he was just listening, like he heard the trap fall too. He heard it, but he was trying to listen to see did it wake me up. So I'm standing in the hall with the 38 revolver, and looking at the shadow on the window, and he wouldn't come in. So I said, he ain't gonna come in. So I said, let me give him a message here. So I fired off a shot down in the floor, and he took off. He left so fast, he left his shadow on the curb. That's how fast he got away. And they jumped in the car and they scary, scary, scary. And I hadn't had any more trouble with people trying to break into my house since that, because it got around that I had a 38 and I would shoot it. And they never tried to break in my house since that time. And I got the bullet, I got it as a little souvenir sitting in there on the table, remind me that, hey, you could kill people with these things. And I don't really want to kill anybody because they want to go joyriding. But other people would. Other people told me that I should have shot the kid. You should have shot him, Mr. Ray. He breaking in your house, he'd take his chances. And I said, no, but you gotta be neighborly, even when somebody is trying to victimize you. You gotta say, what is the consequence? What would the mother think if I shot a kid just over some keys and he wanted to go joyride? And they know these little black kids are stupid. They know they're stupid, and they know they try these high chances, crime, and they'll try it, and they don't care about that. A lot of them, their mothers was crackheads back during the day, so they'll take the chance on. So, and then you got the grandmamas to deal with, and then the brothers and the sisters. Even though they knew the kid did wrong and he was wrong, why did you have to kill him? You didn't have to kill him. You could have shot him in the leg. You should have did it. You could have scared him. And I know that's how they feel, and my family would feel the same way. Did you really have to kill him? And no, I didn't have to kill him. Matter of fact, I let him go. And they drove my car over there, and they hid it, and they were going to drive it later on in the early morning hours because they knew I would probably have APB out on it. And so I didn't shoot him, and I'm glad I didn't shoot him. I didn't, but it was amazed me that so many people on the job when I was working say, "You, I'd have busted cap him, I'd have killed him." Man. And I said, but y'all Christians don't know. Y'all Christians feel that vindictive and that angry about what other individuals do, especially if they commit a crime. And they said, they ain't got nothing to do with it. They said, if he break in your house, you got to be willing to die. And I said, well, I said, if that's the way you feel about it. I said, but I don't feel that way. I don't believe in trying to kill a person when you could handle it another way. But I listened, and when I was listening to the television, I was started flipping around, getting away from the movies and the documentary, and I watched a show on the religious network, and they had this cardinal on there named, what was his name, Raymondo de Arroyo, and he was a cardinal, and he had the COVID. That's why I stopped. They called, and he said he was on a ventilator for 10 days. And so I said, the ventilator for 10 days. So I said, let me check this ventilator out. And although a lot of people was on these ventilators, a lot of people died on these ventilators, I was able to understand what was going on with the ventilator. The ventilator is stuck down in your airway, your windpipe, and it pumps air down in there, and your lungs contract and expand for you. They're doing that for you. Let me see if this one's consistent. No, that's Mr. Wash. I can talk to him after I get finished. And I said that would be kind of crazy if you did that. To have a machine just, and to have it doing it for 10 days. But he survived. A lot of people didn't survive it. But I would not want to have that to happen to me. I would not want to get on the ventilator. I would not want something breathing for me. But I guess if you die and you would change your mind. You say, yeah, put me on the ventilator. It don't seem like I can make it no other kind of way. But I definitely wouldn't want to get on the ventilator. It's a deadly machine to me. But this cardinal, he got on there, and the Pope had said something about this cardinal that was derogatory. He said this cardinal was a denier. He was a vaccine denier, and the cardinal didn't take the vaccine. And the Pope spoke out about it. And he said now he's sick and in the hospital. He wouldn't take the vaccine. He's a vaccine denier. I mean, he just called him out. And the Cardinal Burke, I think it was, he said he wasn't going to take the vaccine. Not either. Even though he was on the ventilator for 10 days. Now he said he still don't take it. Some people telling me, you need to go take the vaccine now. And they got me scheduled for a shot next Friday. But I still don't know if I'm going to take it or not. Because you have to kind of stick with your principles. And for me, which it's not, it hadn't been a real grave condition thing, me having the COVID. I guess I'm about done with my 5 days, and I guess I'm just about done with the spitting up the phlegm and all of that. And I may be coming back to myself. Once I find out I can eat my peanut butter and crackers and maybe taste some meat again, I'll be back in my healthy state. So that's what I'm looking for. So I don't think there's anything else for me to share with y'all. I'll share the dreams, and the pain, and being quarantined, and symptoms of the disease, which you can be achy all over, have a sore throat. And I went through the sore throat thing. Every time you swallow, it would be painful. So I went through that, but I drank some concoction, some herbal concoctions through the night, 2 nights in a row. And now the herb's always working on you. It's always working on you. So you have to realize that when you use herbs, that the herbs is always working. That's what they was put it by the infinite man to do. So now I've been in quarantine for 3 days, and I feel fatigued, and I don't feel healthy, feel weak. I got a couple more days to go, and I think I'm getting a little bit better every day. But I just want to thank all of you, my subscribers, to hang on in there with us. So now I might live to spend some of my YouTube money, which they're supposed to be putting into my account, starting the day through the 26th, I guess. So me and my family, they've been waiting more than them that watch for the morning to get that money in there because they expect to spend some of it, and they will get a chance to spend some of it. And I just want to thank all you subscribers for subscribing to my channel. And hey, man, I'm going to be putting on some great, videos on the second season. And like I said, the first video on the second season will be dreams. And it's going to be really amazing because everybody dreams, and you should learn how to interpret your dreams. So I'm going to have a lot of knowledge for you about that and show you how to get a book to describe the thing that you dream about. You can correspond to this. So I'm going to be sharing all of that with my first one. But the first video you might see me in is which won't be doing a video. It'll be doing an interview-like thing with a doctor who had read my book, The Niggas Holy Bible. I was supposed to go over and meet with him Monday, but I came down with the COVID, so we had to postpone. So whenever I get back in order now, a little time go by, that'll be the first video you see me in. Is he and I talking about the Niggas Holy Bible. That's probably going to be real interesting too, because a lot of people don't understand, why did you call it the Niggas Holy Bible? What's in the Niggas Holy Bible? But it's so much wisdom in there and so much knowledge in there until it's going to be interesting to see what this doctor has to say about it and see if he was up enough, raised himself up enough in his mind and his rationale and wisdom to understand the Niggas Holy Bible. So, well, I'm just about run out of energy now, y'all. So I'm going to go back in and get in my chair, rest a while, and then I'll get up and try to eat something. So that's all I have to share with you this time, and I'm anxious to move on.